As an African who is deeply conscious of the history and struggles of Africans, as an African woman who is a leader in one of Africa's countries, as an African woman who has championed the plight of rural poor women and urban poor and marginalized girls and boys, and as an African human rights activist who has championed the advancement of women, and as an African diplomat who has campaigned for African people, I can attest to the fact that the history of an African is intimately intertwined with the history of the world. Today, there's only 2 countries in Africa out of 54 countries which have a female state president. I'm confident, and I know, that in 5 years' time, Africa will have 4 female presidents. Please do not ask me which ones, because I want them to succeed. We have learned that the best way to go up in Africa is to shut up. The African leaders should aim at establishing open, competitive, and dynamic economic structures that will mobilize individual initiative and dynamic private enterprise. To achieve this, the African leaders should draft an organizing continental philosophy to rally consensus within and across political parties, civil society, business, organized labor, strategic private investors, and development partners in order to radically turn around the economies of Africa. The African leaders should be determined and ready to deliver a development and a modernization project to save the people of Africa. Africa has successful governments that have demonstrated that it is safe to invest in Africa. Successful leaders that can be engaged, supported, and promoted to set the pace for Africa. Africa has demonstrated what most civilized Western democracies are still struggling with, that women can succeed and women can lead their nations. Africa has also decided that dictators are not welcome in the new order. Those who decide to seize power through unconstitutional means will not fit in the new Africa that we know and are proud of. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, from their experience of the impact of globalization and interdependence, the developed countries have begun to realize that the problem of poverty in a developing country will not remain forever in that developing country, but sooner or later will find a way of transferring itself into the developed world. Learning a lesson from the protracted recession of the late 1970s and 1980s and the recent global financial crisis, the developed countries have also realized that to stimulate the global economy, they must cultivate vast new markets in the developing world. The countries of the developing world, including Africa, have also been formulating a fundamental change in approach and orientation to their endeavors to solve global economic problems. They have come to realize that reciting a litany of grievances, denunciations, and using confrontational language is counterproductive in dealing with the developed countries. They have now resolved to adopt a completely rational approach and resume dialogue with the North on the basis of partnership of equals.